Hello, Swifties and non-Swifties. This episode is a Taylor Swift episode. So as you all know, I'm Singapore's top Swiftie. Okay, sorry, that's a big claim. If you believe that you are, please don't attack me in the comments. We can all be Swifties and be happy, but I am just the top one. Anyways, so in this episode, I guess I want to talk about all things Taylor Swift because I've been a big Taylor Swift fan for a very long time. And of course, being a Taylor Swift fan comes with just a lot in general. People got a lot of things to say about it. Society got a lot of things to say about how you're supposed to feel being a Swiftie, or like just a lot of things happen in general. I feel like in the last couple of months about Taylor Swift and being a Swiftie has made me feel some type of way. So, and of course, the massive ticket buying commotion that just happened here for all the Singapore shows, that chaos was truly something nobody needed to experience in their lives. I will not wish it upon any fangirl or fanboy out there if you ever need to buy tickets. That was truly the Great War, and that was not something that I enjoyed lah. But anyways, so yeah, I guess we want to talk about all that in this episode. And of course, let us begin by talking about when and how or why I am a Swiftie to begin with. So I feel like I don't remember exactly when I started listening to Taylor Swift, but Taylor Swift has been a massive part of my life growing up, and I can remember vaguely how I listened to every single album and I religiously followed everything. But for the longest time, I would probably tell myself that I'm not a Swiftie. I would probably tell myself that no, I wouldn't consider myself a Swiftie. And I also think when like fan bases have labels like that, it puts a lot of pressure to like what does a Swiftie look like? You know, what does a Swiftie sound like? Are you posting about her a lot? Are you talking about her all the time? Are you only listening to her? Do you also like another artist from that same era or genre? Does that make you a true Taylor Swift fan? You know, so it was all these lame things, but truly as a grown-ass woman now, I'm just like, if it makes me happy, if I enjoy the music, if it brings me joy, like I'm a fan. Clearly, I'm a fan. I subscribe to this. I'm a fan. I listen to it every day of my life now. And it means enough for me to like want to go and watch a show, buy tickets, do these things. So I would definitely consider myself a Swiftie, even though I know it's a very heavy and loaded term to use because yeah lah, people act like there's some criteria out there to being a Swiftie. But truly, yeah, I think if you identify as one, go for it. And if you think you enjoy her music, that's all you need to do sometimes to be a fan, right? So sometimes it's not that deep, and I think a lot of people forget that, and they just make it a whole thing that becomes not fun for everyone and essentially ruins other people's experience. So yeah, I don't really enjoy things like that. It just makes me feel like walao. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, so I think for me, I just grew up listening to a lot of Taylor Swift songs, and of course, when I was younger, I didn't listen to music in a way that I do now. So I will not listen to an entire album in sequence or in its entirety. You know, I'll just listen to, if there's a hit single I like, I'll just go listen to that, have it on repeat. So I cannot remember what's the album that made me like really like, oh my god, I love her a lot. I will listen to everything she puts up from here on out. I cannot remember that at all. I also compartmentalize a lot of trauma very well, and her songs are very like sing a lot about sad stuff, make you feel some type of way. So I think I used it to cope a lot. So I'm definitely very grateful that her music came into my life when it did. But for me now, when I think about it, I would say maybe in the last 3 to 4 years, I think that's when I've been a very hardcore Swiftie. Like I started to notice it in the way I like consume like music content in general, the way I listen to music, the way the playlist that I would search for, and how I would just naturally gravitate to like, oh actually I missed this song, let me go listen to it. So I appreciated nostalgia a lot now that I'm a bit older, and I enjoyed going back to listen to older albums and things like that. And when she started to do the re-recording of all her albums, of course it naturally brought back all these feelings and memories from way back. So it started to make me really enjoy this process of just listening to a Taylor Swift album that I did not expect to come back into my life like this many years down the line. So yeah, in the last few years, don't know how I feel about this, but every single year when Spotify does their year in Wrapped, like Spotify Wrapped or whatever, right? So I always get, I think the first time Taylor Swift appeared as my top artist, I think I was like maybe top 1% or something like that. And then of course, that's a huge deal, but she has like what, billions of fans. So you're like, okay, I guess that's not that big of a deal. 1% maybe is not that much. And then as the years went by, every time this review came, the number started getting smaller and smaller. So I think the smallest percentage I was in was 0.01%. And in my mind, I'm like, I still am convincing myself that, nah, I'm probably not that big of a fan. Like, it's probably not that bad or like not that like intense because she has so many fans. But now I'm starting to realize that, hey, I guess I'm a bit in denial. I'm a massive Swiftie, and a lot of my friends around me will tell me I'm the biggest Swiftie they know, which I never thought would be the case until I heard this. I heard it from someone else. So yeah, it's been interesting to realize that and to essentially own it, because I am definitely a believer in like, if you like it, flaunt it. If this makes you happy, really thrive, go enjoy it, as long as you're not harming anyone. So I spoke about this in my ick episode. So in episode 6, you would actually hear me talk about this. So I really think if it brings you joy, doesn't harm anyone, you should just, go all out, do whatever you need to do. And yeah, I think that's such a rare feeling when you get older also, like to just genuinely be so happy about something. So yeah, I find that like, yeah, if for me, Taylor Swift is definitely something that brings me joy like that. So it's also very interesting because I think being a Swiftie comes with a lot of like, great power comes great responsibility. No, I'm not going to say that. But I think it comes with a lot of like, people feel some type of way about the term, or like they will make it sound like it's something lame. And it's as simple as back when I was in secondary school, when Justin Bieber was one of the biggest things in the world, I was one of the people who was very like, that's lame. And I did that. And I remember like in one of my Nobody Asked episodes, I look back at my old tweets and I have so many tweets just roasting Justin Bieber for no reason at all. Why was I like that? But the lame thing about it all, right? Did I listen to his music? Yes. Did I actually enjoy a lot of his songs and found myself knowing the lyrics to a lot of his songs? Yes. But did I go, of course, listen to every single album, every single song? No lah, I wasn't a hardcore fan. But I was a fan in general, and I did enjoy a certain amount of his music. So like, why was it like cool to shit on him? Why was it like a thing to like just make fun of how he looked or his hair, and do things like that? Which is so lame now as an adult. I'm like, that's one of the lamest things you can do, and that's the complete opposite of cool. But I probably thought I was being cool because I was in the smaller group that did not like him, But it's so lame. So I feel like a lot of people now growing up watching a lot of people do that when it comes to Taylor Swift, and seeing it happen like firsthand, like having firsthand experience about it, like with this, I'm just like, damn, this is the lamest thing you can do. But it's also very different when you're a grown-ass adult doing this, because I think it's just even lamer that you want to like go out of your way to go and hate on somebody who is thriving and will never know you exist and is extremely successful, and you see them bring so many people around you joy, but then you go out of your way to say something shitty or hurtful. So yeah, of course, over the years, I've had many friends come up to me and they would go out of their way to be very mean about it. So like, for example, we could all just be hanging out, a Taylor Swift song could come up on shuffle, and I had this one friend who actually said to me like, ew, let's change the song, I hate her. Like, knowing that I'm a fan and I like her, but I was not someone that would like control the music, change the song. No, we only can listen to Taylor Swift. I was not one of those people. So the fact that they went out of their way to like come and tell me that they really did not like her and they hated this song and they laughed about it and they were being very like mockingly sarcastic and bully energy about it, that made me like super put off. And I was just like, okay, honestly, can I ask you why? So one day I was so annoyed and I told myself like, it's so unproductive to just, your friend says something very shitty and then you just like feel hurt by it, but you don't say anything, and then you just, whatever lah, I guess I'll just have to ignore this lame thing my friend is saying even though it's hurtful. So I just asked my friend back like, actually, why? Like, why do you constantly say this? Like, you also know I'm a fan, what? So why do you need to say this? And they actually told me like, oh, she's just so whiny and annoying and all she does is talk about her breakups and talk about men. And I started to realize a pattern because I've had like maybe like 2 or 3 friends express this sentiment or say the same exact thing. And every time I bothered to engage and ask like, actually, why? Why do you not like her? Why do you detest her so much and everything about her? They always brought up the fact that like, oh, she only talks about love. Oh, she always talks about men. Or like, she's always like whining. And to me, it was a very clear pattern of like, as much as we want to sit here and talk about like, oh, mental health is important, we should all express ourselves, talk about things like, No, you only want to pick and choose when it's convenient, right? You don't actually want people to talk about their feelings. If someone's gonna make a career of singing about their hardships or singing about heartbreak, singing about any traumatic thing they've been through, good for them, right? You do whatever you want to do, and also I'm sure it helps you cope to a certain extent. And like as a society as a whole, we will say we need to like talk about these things. We need to encourage these conversations and do all that. But literally, we cannot. A massive percentage of us cannot just exist without insulting a woman for talking about her feelings. And it's as simple as that, I feel. But of course, if you want to go into a deep dive and break it down, and I understand there's many layers to it because a lot of the men that Taylor Swift has dated are all very high profile men as well. So of course people feel very strongly about it, and it's an extremely public thing to do. But it's also not like she's ever publicly said like directed hate towards someone and said like, oh yeah, go do what you want with this information. This person was a trash ex-boyfriend to me. And, so it's very tricky because I feel like it's the approach also. But at the end of the day, the crux of it is if you're just going to be very unhappy and say, she's annoying because she talks about her feelings or she talks about love a lot. It was a bit hilarious because the specific friends that have mentioned this to me, the one big thing that they all talk about in their own personal settings and lives were all about love and men trouble, dating trouble, and all these things. So I was just like, are you just projecting? Is her music making you feel some type of insecure because it's a bit too real? So I feel like you need to like deep dive a bit. Sometimes when you hate something a lot, right, you need to look inward and be like, why? Like, why do I hate this? Is it because it's a reflection of myself or something that I really don't like or someone I really don't like? Or is this something that I need to work through within myself, like work inward, within myself? Or is this just, I really just don't like it because I don't like it and it sucks and it doesn't sound pleasant to me? Sometimes it's as simple as that. It's not that deep. So yeah, but I've started to notice a pattern lah. Another friend also brought up, the one thing they brought up when they said they didn't like Taylor Swift was, the exact words were, because of the Kim and Kanye thing. And I was like, wait. In what world will you say that you absolutely hate her because of that massive, very public drama when it all started with her being a 17-year-old, winning a VMA, and Kanye West, a overgrown-ass man-child, went up on stage to literally snatch and steal her spotlight just to essentially belittle her lah, and everything that she's ever earned and worked hard for. And no matter what, that was not okay, and everybody's entitled to an opinion, right? So even if you're at the end of the day, you listen to this podcast and you're like, I hate Taylor Swift no matter what Preeti says, that's completely fair, like completely okay. And it's just don't subject someone to your opinion. So if you're going to come up to me in person after listening to this episode and say things like, oh, I heard your episode, but I still hate her, I hate everything about her, like, you don't need to tell me that, what? And especially if you know it brings someone joy and then you go out of your way to say it honestly makes you the asshole in this situation. And that's literally what Kanye West did. He thought Beyonce had a better album. He could have kept that opinion to himself or in all his social circles, which I'm sure were huge. And he could have told everybody he ever wanted to in person. But in what world is it okay to go up on a stage, snatch a microphone from someone, completely steal their moment and their spotlight, and essentially, I don't know how many hours of like, I don't know how many times she's thought about this in her life and how traumatic it was to even think about stepping onto another award stage or to receive another award in her life without the fear of someone doing this again or someone thinking it'd be funny to prank her about it or trigger a reaction because she's been through this already. So it's just so like, it's crazy. And I always forget that she was 17. Like when we were all 17, I think if anyone did something like that, we'd be scarred for life. Like fully sobbing in that exact moment, spiraling, like screaming, crying, throwing up, like cannot function. So I'm like, damn, at 17 to go through something like that, it's a lot. And I mean, she also did a lot of crazy things around that time. I like did John Mayer. So yeah, a lot was happening in her life. But yeah, so I feel very like when people have very strong opinions against her, I find it very, it's all valid. I think people need to realize that whatever emotion they feel and opinion they have, it's mostly always going to be valid. But when you project it on someone, when you like make them have to subscribe to your belief system, when you put it on someone, expect them, have some level of expectations when it comes to other people having to accept this opinion or have to share the opinion, that's not okay lah. Why would you force it down someone's throat like that? So I think, yeah, being a Swiftie is very tricky because all these things have come up and these are all just in my own personal conversations with friends. And of course, when you publicly put out an opinion that you're a fan of someone or a fan of, like, especially someone like Taylor Swift, who is huge. I don't know anybody who does not know her. That's how, like, massive she is, right? So it comes with a lot of, like, judgment. People will always have something to say, always have something to, like, comment on. But I think I can't wait for the day, like, people realize, or the world realizes as a whole, that, like, we'd be so much more happier if we did not do this, if we did not, like, shit on someone for being happy, you know. But yeah, anyways, I also think it's like, I cannot just sit here and talk about Taylor Swift without also talking about, like, some level of controversial, like, controversy she's been through, I guess. And the most recent one being the stupid ass Matty Healy thing. So it's also tricky because I guess this is why I believe that at the end of the day, we need to always remember that no matter if it's an international celebrity, a global, like, massive artist, or even if it's your local influencer, hey, you know, like, whoever it is, I think we need to be very critical with the way we, like, be a fan or, like, support their work. Because I guess on theory, on paper, I'm a Taylor Swift stan. I love her. I love everything about her, everything. But I would also confidently say this is why you should not stan everyone blindly. This is why you cannot just run around and, like, this person can do no wrong. I support everything they say, they do. Because we need to remember that they are literal human beings. And everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody has, you know, so like, as the great Hannah Montana said, you know, so we need to always remember that. And at the end of the day, we've all dated shitty people in our lives, or we've all almost dated someone shitty, or we all know someone who dated some asshole. So I do believe it was a case of that. But I also do believe it's some level of publicity stunt, because I do believe that she really wanted to be the most talked about person in the world when she started going on tour. And a lot of people also say any publicity is good publicity, which I don't subscribe to lah, because that's the same as, like, having dumbass unpopular opinions and saying very controversial things on a stupid ass blog that nobody reads anymore. And, like, you know, like, it's a lot of people in this country, we don't have to look that far. A lot of people make a career of doing things like that, right? So I just feel like, yeah, I mean, if you want to say things for the sake of saying, because you just want a reaction, you want people to wild out, and you just want to be trending, then who's, like, really, there's nothing we can do or say here. And at the end of the day, I think we also need to remember that we can speculate whatever we want, but we will literally never know. Taylor Swift is not somebody I can sit there and call or, like, ever talk to in my life. But who knows? Maybe someday she'll be hitting me up. I'm kidding. I really don't believe that. But anyways, yeah, you know, so I feel like we can speculate all we want, but at the end of the day, even if she did not date him for real, I do judge her to an extent for being associated with someone like him, for even having him in her social circles. To me, that's a bit like, I don't agree with that, and that puts me off a little bit as a fan, as a very big fan. But I also am telling myself that, like, this is not something she will ever come out to confirm, and she has not. And she also does a lot of amazing things with her platform. So I guess as a fan, I've been torn many times, but I definitely, I guess why I go back to why I like her and why I enjoy her music and everything about her. And it has always brought me back to her lyricism, her music, how I love almost every single song she's ever put out, except Me Hee Hee Hoo Hoo Hoo. That song gotta go, man. But anyways, like, I think I keep bringing myself back to that. And as much as I don't want it to take away from how good she is at what she does, it does make me feel some type of way lah. And I guess it's tricky because we're all human. So I feel a bit, like, torn sometimes. And I'm like, does it make me, like, not want to be her fan or not ever want to see her in concert? Of course not, it doesn't. So I'm also like, yeah. And I also keep telling myself it could be way worse. You know, there's so many, like, problematic ass influencers who say and do the things that they do, and will never ever in their lives see any form of backlash for the things that they have constantly gotten away with. But when a woman dates someone who is a loser man, she will forever be judged by the things that the loser man has said and done. And he will not even be judged half as much. And he will sell out all his shows and go and wild out and say even more problematic things at every concert he does. But people will be very harsh on the Taylor Swift fans who still like her after she might have possibly dated a very trash man like that. You know, so it's just, I'm very torn. I'm not going to say, like, what's the right thing or wrong thing to do here, because I don't freaking know. I'm literally just a girl in some corner of the world and I just enjoy her music a lot. And she has gotten me through a lot of very, 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 very messed up and tough times in my life. She has given me a lot of very good cries that I needed to get out of my system. She has made me very, very happy. And I've not felt that level of excitement from an artist in a very long time when they released a new album or new music video or anything like that. And I feel like the only other artist maybe the only other one or two artists that I really, really loved and had to listen to anything and everything they put out, music video, have to watch everything growing up, like definitely would be Nicki Minaj and also Lady Gaga. So that was the era of pop that like I was so happy to have lived through and I'm so happy to be a part of. But for me, Lady Gaga was definitely my first ever like top tier. I've never loved an artist like this before. And then yeah, soon after, of course, Nicki Minaj. And then now I'm like, whoa, I actually realized I've loved Taylor Swift for a very long time and I need to like acknowledge it and stop acting like I'm not that big of a fan when I am. So yeah, I think I have had a lot of like, yeah, back and forth in my mind sometimes when Taylor does or says something or puts out a statement about something. But I'm also glad she does use her platform where like sometimes it feels inconvenient, but I'm glad that she is using her platform. And I'm glad she has said many things over the years, done many things that like a lot of artists would never even think of or care about in general. And I'm also somebody that has watched like her documentary and stuff, and it does feel really real and it does feel really honest and genuine. And I do enjoy seeing that side of her. And when there was a huge part of her documentary that's on Netflix where she talked about publicly putting out a statement when it came to politics in America. And she was told by everyone around her to not do it because it would affect her career. And it will affect like essentially her rice bowl. And that was something that I unfortunately could relate to an extent, you know, as somebody who's just here doing my own thing on a very, very, very different scale from her. And I'm just thinking about like constantly thinking about the consequences, how people are going to look at you and treat you, how your income is going to be affected literally almost immediately if you have an opinion that people don't share or an opinion people are not ready to hear. And it's very tricky like to talk about the things you care about. So I think that's maybe when I started to relate to her pretty hard. And when I watched the documentary for the first time, it did make me quite emotional, and it did make me realize that like, damn, like this is such a weird feeling to even say out loud that I actually relate to Taylor Swift because we are like worlds apart, right? And yeah, I think watching that really helped me, I guess, get a peek inside her thought process and just her processes in general when it comes to songwriting and the struggles that she had every other day on tour, having an opinion on social media, dealing with the consequences of that opinion. So yeah, I guess in another life, I could be Taylor Swift, so just call me Miss Blondie. No, I'm kidding. Please don't do that. But yeah, I feel like me and her could be besties, but we never know. But either way, I am a Swiftie. So if you do not like her, please do not tell me about it. I absolutely do not care. I don't come up to you and say, I love her, I love her, I love her. But you listen to this podcast by your own choice, yeah? So that's why you heard my opinions. So anyways, yeah, okay, we need to end this episode by talking about the chaos of Ticketmaster and the Eras tour. Because getting those tickets, wow, it was insane. You know, like, wow, my friends and I think we collectively had like at least 15 to 20 tabs open and on multiple devices. And we were all just in our own spaces, in our own homes, like just spamming our chat groups just to like update each other on our queue numbers. And I shit you not, the queue numbers that I realized I actually quite sway with these things on. My queue numbers all like 1 million, 2 million, and then the best one was like 200k something, which is like 200k is insane already. And after don't know how long of trying, and then the access code fiasco of like people realizing that actually the access code on Ticketmaster is just your phone number, and then people started using everyone and anyone's phone number just to get access to buy tickets. And then some people who were going in to buy tickets for the first time and were trying to use their own code cannot even use their own code, because I think other people got their numbers from like the Telegram group chats and stuff like that, and might have just anyhow like used other people's access code which is damn shitty. And it was just so messy, and somehow Kai Ying, who is behind the camera right now, has true Ticketmaster luck. She has so much luck when it comes to ticket buying, concert ticket buying, that she was the one that managed to get access, and she managed to get us 4 Cat 1 freaking tickets. So we're all gonna go watch Taylor Swift, which is super insane because I was so like, I went into it so like no emotions, and I was very like, okay, we just try. Like, this is our game plan. Here's what we're gonna do, but let's just try. Considered going to a freaking SingPost to queue, but also understand that like my SingPost was a mall, so I was damn scared to do it because if once the mall open, I know everybody gonna run in. Excuse me, I got weak knees. Okay, I'm not gonna anyhow run in and queue, do all these kind of chaotic things. So yeah, I was like, I don't think it's worth, and I also don't think can get. So yeah, eventually I just decided to do it from home. We all tried, and Kai got access, so she bought it for all of us. I'm so grateful. So thank you, Kai.
You're welcome. Shout out to Anna.
Yeah, so massive shout out to my friend Anna, who actually gave us her code. So if she did not give us her access code, we would not be able to buy tickets.
But meant nothing.
Yeah, the queue number would have been absolutely for nothing one, and getting access would have been for nothing if you did not have the access code to check out. So yeah, shout out to Anna. Anna already got tickets with her group of friends as well, so she managed to give us her code. So it all worked out, and like we could only get 4 tickets per transaction, so we can't go with like everybody we wanted to watch it with. But at least all our friends that like immediate friends that we knew all managed to get tickets on their own accord or through their own group of friends. So super happy for everybody that got tickets. And of course, if you didn't and you're a Swiftie, I'm so sorry. That is like very heartbreaking, and I don't know how it will ever be okay or it can be better, but I hope that somehow you get to travel or possibly get tickets somewhere else or somewhere nearby, like Australia shows or Tokyo shows. But if not, then well, fingers crossed she comes back again, because she did come here like for 2 tours already before Era's tour. So who knows? Really, truly, who knows? It is now the era of Taylor Swift for the next don't know how many years. So fingers crossed she does come back, and somehow you guys manage to get tickets. But I highly recommend you do not purchase any from a scalpers or anyone out there, because you never know lah. And like the Singapore Police Force walking around giving you all the scam brochures. They go to the Taylor Swift queue at the SingPost and they give people the brochure. But yeah, anyways, please don't fall for any scams online, because yeah lah, people will take advantage when you're vulnerable lah. They know you really want tickets, they know you are a big fan, and people will take advantage of this kind of shit. So just, if you can't get it from a resale through a friend or something like that, don't go buy from randos online. Don't trust randos who are selling it for like 4 times the price. That is not okay. And no ticket should ever be worth that much. It is not normal and it's not alright. But yes, try your best to word of mouth, ask everybody around you. Sometimes some people have spare single seats. So even if you are not close to them, you really want that ticket, just go get it. And I hope everyone like who really, really is a big fan gets to go, because it would be so exciting, and I can only imagine how much joy we will all have going to the Eras tour. And honestly, it hasn't hit me yet, and I know it's something that like I cannot imagine the post-show feeling for this. I'm already dreading that. But yeah, I think only when I'm there in that moment, I would fully immerse myself in a what the heck I am watching her live, and I will be so happy. So I also realized that also in the last like maybe 10 years of my life, I've always said that concerts brought me the kind of joy that nothing else can ever bring me. And attending concerts, being in that space where you just enjoy this music so much and you're just such a massive fan of the artist, to me a concert experience is a must have if you're a fan of an artist. No matter when in your life, no matter where, just concerts have always been something I absolutely love. And once I started going for concerts, which I think my first was in 2012, I really like, that was the kind of happiness that like I never felt before. So I remember all I ever saved my money for was concerts. So yes, so now being a grown-ass adult and being able to go for one of my first concerts in a long time, like first concert that I'm a massive fan, I really want to go, I'm going to buy tickets and go by myself. It's been such a long time, and I have not stepped in the National Stadium in like what feels like years. So I am very, very hyped and excited for the Eras tour. I'm sure I'll be posting all about my Eras tour outfit. Don't know what I'll wear, but I want to wear something crazy. So I'll figure it out, and I'm sure I'll post all about it. So anyways, now it is time for my favorite segment of the show. Kring kring! Hello. It is time for your unsolicited advice of the week. So in this episode, I just want to put it out there. If you're a non-Swiftie and if you have lots of things to say, sometimes it's okay to don't say. You know, don't need to say. Don't need to tell everybody. Not everybody needs to know your opinion and how you feel. And you don't need to be mean about it. You are allowed to share an opinion. It is all valid. But you don't need to be mean about it, especially if it brings someone around you joy. And if you actually love the people around you and you want to see them happy, I don't think you're shit on how they feel, okay? So maybe don't do that. And if you are a Swiftie, then I would say, continue thriving. Live your best life. Go listen to, oh my god, I'm in my speak now era. That's why I wore this outfit. But yes, my advice to you is do whatever makes you happy. You also don't need to project and tell everybody that I love Taylor Swift. You also need to listen to Taylor Swift. Don't need to do that. Sometimes people not ready to experience something, then they don't need to experience it. Don't need to force it on them also. So it works both ways. And I think if it makes you happy, brings you joy, by all means, go for it. And if people around you don't want to share the joy, that's okay. More joy for you. Okay, so anyways, we've come to the end of this episode. Let me know what's your favorite Taylor Swift album. Let me know what's your favorite Taylor Swift era. I got so many albums here. I think 1989 is my favorite album. Wow, that's a bold statement to make. But I think that's it. So yeah, tell me what's your favorite album, and maybe I'll tell you I don't agree, or like maybe I'll say, yay, me too. But yeah, I love almost everything, so I'm sure I would like it all. So let me know in the comments, and I will see you at the Eras tour. I'm just kidding, I'll see you at the next episode lah. Come on, bye.